Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your WWE Raw post show from Monday, March 7th. Tonight on the show, Stone Cold Steve Austin called out by Kevin Owens for WrestleMania. RK Bro are the new tag team champions, and Braun Breaker makes his Raw debut. Let's do it. There we go.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, we are here. Hello.
Welcome.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome to Wrestling Uncensored.
Okay. We watched Raw. We are a few weeks away from WrestleMania. Welcome, everybody, to the show. Doug Hepburn in the chat. Shout out to the members like Doug, Brian Firth. Of course, a member over at donate.ringsidereport.net. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you haven't already. And become a member if you haven't already. Join.ringsidereport.net. Support the Ringside Report Network. Keep us going. Keep us watching Raw. Keep us watching Raw. Tonight was a long, right?
It's a long Raw.
It was a long Raw. It just kind of kept on going. Kept on going. It opened up pretty strong. And then, you know, Dana Brooke wrestled Tamina for the 24/7 title. And then The Miz cut a long promo.
That really killed the show.
Yeah. Braun Breaker teamed up with Tommaso Ciampa. That was pretty good. But then Omas wrestled Apollo Crews. Edge did a weird promo.
Oh, we'll get into that.
Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley beat Zelena, Vega, and Carmella, which gives them a spot at WrestleMania. It's now a triple threat for the tag team titles. Finn Balor wrestled Austin Theory, which was pretty good until Damian Priest showed up and caused disqualification. And then Kevin Owens cuts the main event promo, calling out Stone Cold Steve Austin. What is going on here? Doug's asking questions. Did we buy a T-shirt at the show? Yeah, we did also. We'll talk about that as well. We went to see WWE yesterday. I think the thing's a little in your face. Like, I can't see you. You know what I mean?
All right. How's that?
Yeah, that's better.
All right.
You can see yourself over here, you see?
That's true.
Yeah, you can see if it's in your face or not. You can make adjustments.
I just want to make sure that the mic is.
Yeah. But we went to a WWE show yesterday. We saw the Tribal Chief live. We saw the Queen Charlotte Flair. We saw her tap out to Ronda Rousey.
Hot mama.
We did not buy a T-shirt at the show, but we did buy a bunch of gimmicks, mostly Roman Reigns gimmicks, because that's all they really had.
It's pretty paltry selection.
Yeah, but my son,
disappointing.
my son was.
Selection.
We brought him to his first wrestling show. My son's 4.5. Well, more than that, almost 5 at this point, and he wanted some stuff, so we got a little Roman Reigns thing. We got the Roman Reigns glove.
A lot of Roman Reigns gimmicks.
Yeah, a lot of Roman Reigns stuff, but no T-shirts for kids, which is kind of disappointing at these house shows. Like, a lot of kids are there, and you see some of these kids walking around in adult smalls that are just down to their ankles, and it's like, why don't you have kids' T-shirts here for the kids? The WWE can't travel with children sizes. I think maybe for the Raws and the pay-per-view they have a better selection, but what they had at the merch stand for the kids and just overall was kind of not great.
That was pretty weak.
Yeah.
I was disappointed. But we picked up some merch, and it was a good time at the show.
Yeah, it was a
nice
good
to
show.
be at an event again.
Yeah, it was cool to be at a live show again with a crowd and stuff. That was cool. That was fun.
Mm-hmm.
Sami Zayn and Ricochet had a good match. Crowd really liked Big E. Big E wrestled Ridge Holland, which was not, the best, but
Well, Ridge Holland's quite impressive in person.
yeah, he's a big guy.
That was a surprising one.
The Tribal Chief wrestled Drew McIntyre. He beat Drew McIntyre with the guillotine choke, choked him out.
It was a long match.
Yeah, that was a long match. It wasn't the best.
Ronda Rousey and Naomi beat Charlotte Flair and Sonya Deville. That was a pretty decent match. I enjoyed that one.
Yeah.
And I thought Ronda looked pretty good. Like, she looked better than I've seen her wrestle on TV.
Yeah, she did look pretty good. We saw her do more last night than we've seen her in this current run.
And she looked more calm and like
She was doing some cool
hitting her spots
stuff.
better.
Yeah, she did some cool stuff on Sonya Deville. She didn't do much, but what she did do, like, she was in the ring for a couple of minutes, And the finish there that she did with Charlotte Flair was pretty good. She made Charlotte tap to the armbar. She put her in the ankle lock, and Charlotte reversed. And then Ronda was able to reverse out of that and put her in the armbar. I actually have the whole finish on my Twitter page at Dave Simon MMA. You could check that out. I posted some photos and videos from the show. So if you're interested, twitter.com/Dave Simon MMA. You can go follow me there and see some of the videos and pictures that I posted. I posted one picture of Charlotte that just keeps giving me notifications. I don't know why, but people love Charlotte. I mean, I know why people love Charlotte Flair. She's amazing, but I posted one picture. It's got like 500 likes in a day. It's crazy. I don't know what it is, but yeah, a lot of Charlotte Flair fans out there, and why not? She looked fantastic. She looked great. Love to see Charlotte Flair live in person.
Mm-hmm. Oh, she has a real presence when you see her live. Everyone stands up, and she comes out, and she's got the robe, and it just has that kind of majestic feel.
Get you talking right. Just get right in there.
All right, there we go.
Yeah, these mics, I don't know. They're like not sensitive enough or something. I don't know. But it was fun.
Mm-hmm.
It was fun,
a great
right?
time, and it was great to watch my little nephew like react to all the wrestlers and all the pomp and circumstance, and it's always different when you see wrestling live, and you don't have the commentary or the camera changing like angles all the time. You're just watching the match from like one static position. It's different, you know. It's like
it's better.
Yeah,
I like it better. And
you hear the sound of like them hitting the mat. And it's just like it just crashes like and it rumbles throughout the building.
There's no distractions. You could focus on the action and what they're doing, and you could really feel the impact or the lack of impact in a lot of different moves. And it helps to have good seats too.
Oh, yeah,
like if you're sitting up in the rafters, it's not so good. But we had good seats, and if you have good seats for a WWE show, it's a good experience because it's way different than it is on TV. Like it's not the same at all. So it's fun. You know, it's fun. And for me, yeah, it was really all about taking my son to his show. I was watching him more than the show at a lot of the points, but it was fun. I liked going to see the WWE. That's why I always go see the WWE when they come to town. I'm a pro wrestling fan. Maybe hard to tell because sometimes I talk about the current WWE television and their stories, and it's kind of wonky at times. But overall, I love pro wrestling, and, you know, I'll buy a ticket to see Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey any day. You know, if Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey are coming to my town, why wouldn't I go see them? I may not like Baron Corbin and Madcap Moss, and they wrestled
the War Raiders,
the Viking Raiders. But we went to get drinks and stuff during their match because that's the time where you take your bathroom break and you go get your snacks and all of that because I didn't need to sit and watch Baron Corbin and Madcap Moss have a match. And that's all right. You know, you can do that. You can go and walk around. It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yeah, there was no lines for the snacks at that point. So
yeah, people were sitting in their seats
advantage
for some reason. I mean, no disrespect to the Viking Raiders. It's just Moss and Corbin. At that point, I flipped on my phone. I started watching Hook and QT Marshall on the pre-show for the AEW pay-per-view.
It's more interesting.
Yeah. Silent by Deadly says, I've been to lots of house shows and tape shows. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Pay-per-views are always the most fun, I think, for me. Like, I love going to a pay-per-view. You know,
We've been to some magical Raws, though. And
yeah,
some
Raws.
pretty good SmackDowns.
Yeah, sometimes Raw and SmackDown can be just as good as a pay-per-view.
Moments.
Yeah. Yeah, we've seen a lot of stuff, you know. I was at the Screw Job in 97, of course. We were at that. We've seen a lot of different things, you know. But for me, a pay-per-view is always the best experience. If you can get to see a WWE pay-per-view live, especially one of the big ones, like a good pay-per-view, you know. We've been to a couple of Money in the Banks, and those are some of my favorite experiences going to a live wrestling show because Money in the Bank, like you're guaranteed some big-time crashes, some big-time falls, big bumps. You know, guys are flying off ladders, going through tables. Money in the Bank pay-per-view is really cool to see live. I'd like to go to see an Elimination Chamber just to see how big the chamber is in person. I think that would be kind of a cool experience, but the cage might kind of hinder your view of what you're actually watching. I know for a UFC show, like, there's certain spots, like, it's fun to see a UFC show live, but you really need to have good seats, because if you're sitting further back, You're mostly just watching it on the big screen the whole time. But WWE is different.
I'd love to go to a Rumble. That's still like on my list of like events to see is a Rumble live.
I've been to a couple Survivor Series, 97 and 08. Been to a couple Money in the Banks.
We were at No Way Out 2003.
No Way Out. There was a pay-per-view here, Breaking Point they did.
Yeah.
We went to that, Road Rage? What was that in Toronto? Roadblock in Toronto.
And Dean Ambrose.
Yeah, so we've seen several pay-per-views together live, and it's really fun. A house show is fun, too. Sometimes house shows are great.
Yeah, we've been to some great house shows.
But these days, I think the best WWE live experience is going to be at a pay-per-view. Live TV shows are always fun, too.
Mm-hmm.
Been to countless Raw. I couldn't tell you how many tapings of Raw and Smackdown I've been to because it's just...
It's more the moments we could like recall, you know?
Yeah, that's it. And I couldn't even tell you when they were, you know, like that famous Shawn Michaels promo where he's saying Bret Hart, you know, I'd screw him again, and the crowd's going crazy. Like, we were there, and I remember that like it was yesterday.
That was 2005.
Yeah, that was amazing.
That was August of 2005.
I remember Eddie Guerrero pulling up right beside me during a SmackDown taping.
Mm-hmm.
I was sitting on the aisle. That SmackDown
that was
taping.
Also 2005.
Oh well, 2005 was.
I was leading up to the Rumble.
It was a good year. Eddie Guerrero pulling up in the lowrider and bouncing right in front of me. That was really cool. And then later on, the Undertaker just walking right in front of me.
With the fog everywhere.
Seeing Taker when you're sitting right on the aisle or whatever, front row. If you're sitting right next,
I'm not gonna forget.
Especially when he's doing the entrance, you know.
2005 too. Like he's at like height of like his like Return of the Dead Man.
It was impressive. It was really impressive just to see all the fog and everything. Taker's walking right by you, and you're standing there and you're looking under, and I'm looking up. You know, most people are going to be looking way up because he is huge. You know, and in the Undertaker gear, it's impressive.
And he turns the lights on.
We saw Taker wrestle CM Punk at that Breaking Point pay-per-view.
Yeah,
not a great match, but we saw it. It happened.
We saw Jerry Lawler die.
Yeah, Jerry Lawler die and then later come back to life, thankfully, as we know he's still alive.
Mm-hmm. He was on Raw tonight.
Yeah. He was. Yes, he was on Raw tonight. Let's talk about Raw tonight. Good job. So Kevin Owens had a big night. The Raw was mostly about Kevin Owens, and I want to talk about the good before we talk about the bad, which is the rest of the show. I think Kevin Owens was pretty much the high point, and everything else was the low point. So Kevin and Seth start the show with an in-ring promo. They talk about winning the tag team titles tonight in the triple threat tag team title match. Kevin Owens says, unfortunately, they'll have to defend them in Texas because he doesn't like Texas. And then the Alpha Academy show up. Shoosh everyone. And then Gable says losing to Rollins and Kevin Owens last week was erroneous. And then Riddle and Randy do a promo in Gorilla, and then we go to the match. It's RK Bro versus Alpha Academy and Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens in a triple threat match for the tag team titles. And Alpha Academy, after winning the belts from RK Bro, a month ago?
Yeah, not that long ago.
Yeah, they just beat them for the belts. They do this whole program with them only to lose the belts back to them a month out from WrestleMania. So I didn't expect that one. I didn't really think. I thought, if we see a title change, it would be Seth and Kevin winning. But RK Bro, that's...
It just feels like it's Mania. We want to make sure Randy has a spot. So let's just make sure let's give him a belt so he has a place.
I thought that this might be, breaking up of RK Bro and doing Randy versus Riddle at WrestleMania, but they want to keep this going. And you heard Randy in the promo afterwards, and they did a celebration promo in the ring. Randy says he's never had so much fun in the 20 years of his wrestling career, and Riddle is his friend. He's like, I'm going to use the F word now. I'm going to use the F word. Riddle's my friend. And then they hugged and celebrated. And Randy seemed genuine. He really did seem like he enjoys this goofy RK Bro stuff. And he is having fun. And he does want it to continue. And the WWE likes it. And they want it to continue, obviously, because they just gave them back the tag team belts. even though I think there's so much promise with Gable. Gable was just starting to get over. Shoosh. Thank you. Like all that stuff. He's got catchphrases that are starting to work.
I was saying it last night at the show. The only catchphrase I was repeating out and like shouting out loud in the audience was I was just going at random points. Thank you.
It's catchy.
It's fun to say.
Thank you. Shoosh.
I didn't say anything else. I just randomly go. Thank you.
I really like Chad Gable. I really like Otis. I always have. I like their pairing. I think that they're legit as hell.
And I feel like they could be like a New Day like team.
They can
like
really beat you
now,
up.
But they could be baby faces down the line because they're just so strong charisma-wise.
Yeah, they have the potential to be the next New Day for the WWE, and I think they're going to squander them. They were just starting to get over. There's Angelo. What's up, Angelo? Shoosh! Exactly. They're just starting to get over, and then you take the titles off of them. I don't think that Alpha Academy has the general wrestling fan support that it has here on this like it has here on this show. You know, like we are Alpha Academy fans. Angelo, Doug Hepburn, I'm sure Anthony Plessia's into it. I hope he is. I'm going to say he is. You know I am, you know you are, but we're like I'm an amateur wrestling mark. I like amateur wrestling. I've wrestled. I like to wrestle, you know, real wrestle, not pro wrestle. I like that, and those guys are that. And I like my pro wrestlers to have a legit amateur background. And Gable's an Olympian, and he'll tell you over and over. He'll beat you over the head with it. I'm an Olympian. I wrestled in the Olympics. And you know what? Nobody else on the roster can say the same. Not a single person on that roster, including Brock Lesnar, by the way. Not a single person on that.
Doesn't count yet.
Gable Steveson doesn't count. Although he is technically a member of the Raw roster and he did win an Olympic gold medal. But until he shows up and actually wrestles professionally in the WWE as a sports entertainer, he doesn't count. Chad Gable's the only guy on the roster that went to the Olympics in wrestling. Ronda Rousey, of course, won a bronze medal in judo, which is also very impressive. Mm-hmm. But Chad Gable and Otis, too, he was a legit amateur wrestler. I think he almost made the Olympic team in Greco. He's a serious guy, and I like that type of guy. I like that type of wrestler. That's my favorite kind of wrestler. And I think if you look historically, those are the best kinds of wrestlers, guys that had, you know, at least some amateur experience. And they have personality. I think Otis has a great personality. He could be intimidating. You look at the versatility of Otis, it's really amazing. He could be a comedic goofball. He was a completely different character with the beard and the hair. Yeah. And now he's this intimidating, Vader-esque person, and he's scary and he's intimidating.
Yeah, there's no trace at all of like the Mandy Rose Otis.
Nothing. It's gone.
But that speaks to how strong Otis Dojovic is as a performer.
He can do it all. He can be funny. He can be serious.
It's everything you want.
He's like a Kurt Angle. He's big. He's mean. He's got an amateur background, and he's good in the ring. He could wrestle, yet these guys, they lose the tag team belts after a month of having them right back to RK Bro. It's disappointing. And now, I don't know what they're going to be doing at WrestleMania, but obviously it doesn't matter, right? Because Randy Orton is the bigger star, and we all recognize that, and that's fine, and they're sacrificing Alpha Academy because they have nothing else for RK Bro. They'll probably wind up wrestling RK Bro, quite honestly, at WrestleMania, and it'll be some sort of multi-man. The Street Profits will find their way in there. Street Profits did a backstage promo. They were interviewed, and the interviewer was like, "Hey, Street Profits, you have nothing at WrestleMania. It looks like you'll be doing nothing, eh, you losers?" And then Street Profits are like, "Hey, there's still time before WrestleMania, so shut up." And just like I mean, they didn't say that, but they were that was kind of the attitude. They were like, Sarah, because it was Sarah Schreiber or something. I think that's her name, who interviewed them. And it was like, yeah, we got time. We're going to figure it out, Sarah. So stop asking questions like that. So the Street Profits, obviously, because they beat RK Bro last week, right, after Montez injured Randy. They weren't supposed to beat RK Bro, I don't think. He hurt Randy. Randy not injured, right? He wrestled tonight, but He was definitely hurt, and the planned finish went to shit last week. And this week, Street Profits are saying, well, we beat them last week, so, they're tag team champions now. Maybe we'll be next in line for the belts. But I think Alpha Academy, being former champions, could be a triple threat tag team match, could be a fatal four-way tag team match. They could throw another team on there, the Dirty Dogs or someone. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter.
But, it's just, Alpha Academy is big with guys like us. But Randy got a monster pop when he got that hot tag tonight, I noticed.
People love Randy Orton.
People were just getting up and getting, really jacked and excited. And that just shows where a lot of the audience is.
He's a star, and he's been with the company for so long. He's just somebody that people recognize. Mm-hmm. I mean, look at this match. Alpha Academy, they're pretty new. Seth and Kevin, they're over. But Riddle, I don't know. Riddle's kind of the goofy guy. And most of this tag team, no wonder Randy's happy. Who's been elevated in this tag team? Randy was kind of going nowhere, not doing anything for a while, just kind of there. He wasn't going to be world.
All the over in this team.
That's it. He wasn't going to be the world champion. You know what I mean? As a singles before this tag team, he was just there, probably mid-card guy, maybe going to put some people over. Gets in this tag team with Riddle.
Butts and seats,
before this tag team happened, he lost a singles match to Riddle.
Mm-hmm.
Loses clean. And then he starts teaming with him. And ever since then, Riddle has become this goofball character who you can't take seriously, whose stock, I think, has lowered since, before joining the team, as far as a guy you could potentially see, winning a Rumble, main eventing Mania. He seemed like he was on the path to be one of those guys before RK Bro, but now he's just this stupid guy, right? And Randy was kind of nowhere, but now he's got a purpose, and he's still Randy and strong, and you know what I mean? He's the alpha of the team. He's the main guy. He's the leader.
Mm-hmm.
And Riddle's his dumb, goofy sidekick. So no wonder Randy
gets all the pinfall victories.
Yeah, he wins. Whenever they lose, it's Riddle. Whenever they win, it's Randy.
Yeah, and if Riddle wrestles a singles match, he often loses.
Except tonight. Riddle did win tonight.
Oh, yeah, Riddle. Yeah,
Riddle won.
Pin.
Yeah, he snuck a win after Seth and Kevin Owens hit their finishers on Chad Gable. Riddle pushed Seth out of the ring and got the pin on Gable. 1, 2, 3.
Which is a heel move.
New tag team champions.
That's what heels do.
Babyfaces
rarely do that.
I didn't love the finish. I was like, huh? That's the finish? That's a weird finish.
I thought he was going to do some kind of dive onto Seth and then pin Gable or something just to get Seth out of the way. But not even. No, he just tossed him out of the ring.
But the match was really good. It was match of the night. Right? Best match I saw on Raw tonight was this one, the triple threat tag team match. I think, there were a couple that were all right. The Braun Breaker, Tommaso Ciampa against Ziggler and Rude was okay. Austin Theory, Finn Balor was good, but the DQ finish.
Yeah, that would have been a contender, I think, if it had an actual finish to it.
Yeah. Finn Balor wrestled Austin Theory. Finn is the United States champion. He beat Damian Priest for it last week. Damian is mad. He's turned heel. And he attacked Finn Balor during the match, which caused a disqualification eventually. Damian Priest grabs Finn Balor on the top rope. The referee's looking at him oh. And then he, pushes Finn Balor. Finn, bumps in the ring. And then the referee's oh, disqualification. It's shouldn't you disqualify? Usually the referee, as soon as somebody else is making contact with the wrestler, would just call for the bell. But it seemed like a delayed...
It's a strange move, too. He had a goozle, and you think he was going to throw him, outside the ring, onto the table.
No, he just kind of pushed him in the ring by his neck.
It was weird.
And Finn did all the work.
Yeah.
And then Priest attacked Finn a little bit after the match. And then Austin Theory decided to take advantage and hit his finisher on Finn Balor and then take a selfie with him. Of course, Austin Theory is going to be wrestling Pat McAfee at WrestleMania, and we know it's going to be on night 2 on the Sunday WrestleMania, McAfee versus Austin Theory. But back to Kevin Owens, right? So Kevin Owens is in this opening match, and he doesn't win.
And they're distraught.
And they're really sad. Kevin Owens is sitting ringside, and he just looks sad. They go backstage to Kevin Owens at one point, and he's just sitting there looking sad. Like, they spent a lot of time ringside looking at him looking sad, and then they went backstage later on, and then he was just looking sad. And then they went to Seth Rollins at one point, and he was also looking like they just showed a shot of Seth just like kind of catatonic in some sort of loss, depression-induced catatonic state. It was very strange. And then later on, Seth was interviewed, or at least an attempt at a Seth Rollins interview. I think it was Kevin Irish who came out and started interviewing Seth, and Seth just didn't say anything. It was just kind of catatonic, staring straight ahead like he didn't hear him. So Seth has lost his marbles. But Kevin Owens says he's got a plan for WrestleMania, and he's got an idea on how he can still be at WrestleMania even though he failed to win the tag team titles with his best friend Seth Rollins. So cut to the main event promo. It's Kevin Owens in the ring, and he says he wants to have the biggest, most stupendous KO show at WrestleMania. And he knows because it's in Texas, he's going to have a low life from Texas, as he put it. Now I'm going to be quoting Kevin Owens when he's saying inflammatory things here, and I just want you all to know these are not necessarily my thoughts, except
the views and opinions expressed do not reflect those.
The views and opinions expressed about the Texas greats do not necessarily reflect my opinions, although when Kevin Owens is talking about Shawn Michaels, they do. So
and Bradshaw.
No, I like Bradshaw now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because his podcast is good with Jerry Briscoe. Now I like Bradshaw. Bradshaw's cool. His podcast is so damn good, I can't dislike him. It's the best wrestling podcast out there, second to ours, I would say. Mostly because of Jerry Briscoe. I mean, I just want to hear from Jerry Briscoe. You know, that guy.
Seen it all.
You got to love Jerry Briscoe. If you know anything about pro wrestling, you know that Jerry Briscoe is a guy that you want to listen to, and you want to hear his thoughts and opinions about professional wrestling. The guy knows what the hell he's talking about. Gerald Briscoe.
He scouted a bunch of
scouted a bunch of talent. He's been at the right side of Vince McMahon for several years, and before that, he was one of the most badass professional wrestlers. His brother Jack was the NWA World's Champion. The Briscoe brothers were a hell of a tag team. Yeah, I mean, they had a body shop as well, but they were like a legit tag team, real badass guys, amateur wrestlers as well. Like, the Briscoe brothers were the shit. Apparently, Jack was even better than Jerry. And, but Jerry, you know, he knows what the hell he's talking about when it comes to pro wrestling, and I love hearing him. So JBL is cool. Kevin Owens called him a blowhard windbag, but he doesn't want to invite him to the KO show because he's not important enough. He says Booker T said some things about him, called him a liar, but Booker T is the liar because Booker T's from Texas, but he spent his whole career in a tag team called Harlem Heat. Which I thought was really funny. You know, of course, it's a joke. And also, he talked in a fake British accent. He's from Texas, so who's the liar now, Booker T? And he says, Shawn Michaels, Heartbreak Kid, he's a proud Texan, but Kevin Owens is a proud Canadian, and out of respect for Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels is not invited to the KO show, which I thought was fantastic. Gotta love it. Love a Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels reference. And then Kevin Owens says he wants to invite somebody who embodies the state of Texas because he's a shell of his former self living off past glories just like Texas. He says, the guy I'm going to invite needed 2 knee braces last time he went to the ring, and this time when he comes to the ring, he's probably going to need a walker because he's broken down and beat up and a shell of his former self. Kevin Owens says he's going to hit him with a stunner, then pour a cold glass of milk all over his lifeless body. And then he says, I'm calling out Stone Cold Steve Austin. And then they played Austin's music, and the crowd went crazy like Austin was going to be there, but of course he wasn't. And they showed a graphic with Kevin Owens with Stone Cold on the KO show, but with Stone Cold was with Stone Cold, like question mark, even though on the graphic they said Saturday, April 2nd, right? So, I mean, they know when it's going to be. They're saying, I don't know if Stone Cold's going to be there, but, like, who are you kidding?
All those guys are going to be there.
They're probably all going to be there, and they're all going to beat up Kevin Owens, and they'll all hit their finishers, and Austin will hit a stunner, and that'll be that. Austin's not wrestling a match. He's not wrestling a match. He's not going to be taking bumps. He's not He's not doing anything. He's going to show up. He's going to cut a promo with Kevin Owens, and he's going to hit him with a stunner. He might stomp a mud hole and walk it dry, but that'll be it. He'll do this. You know that thing?
He'll ask, give me a hell yeah. He'll say that. And then
You want Stone Cold to whoop some ass? Give me a hell yeah.
And then beer bash.
Beer bash. Hell yeah.
I'd love it if, like, during the beer bash, he, like, stuns, like, Shawn Michaels. You know, like, he'll have a beer bash with, like, Bradshaw, like, Booker. But then, like, have a
stun
beer bash
everybody.
Or all of them, yeah.
Stun them all.
Stun them all. Stun Booker.
Stun them all.
Stun Bradshaw.
Arrive, raise hell, leave. That's the Stone Cold way. The Stone Cold way would be, you know, he's not going to be just stunning Kevin Owens. He comes out, he does a stunner with Kevin Owens, and then, you know, maybe JBL and Shawn Michaels are in the ring too, and maybe they've hit Kevin Owens with some stuff beforehand, and then they all do a beer bash together, all the Texas legends. Stone Cold, you know, bashes the beer, kicks the gut, stunner. And then, like, Booker and Shawn are like, I can't believe he just stunned JBL. What the hell's going on? And Austin's like, no, I'm just kidding. It's just JBL. You know, I don't like JBL. JBL is a dick. And it's like, okay. And then he goes and is like, okay, Booker, you know, come on, it's cool. And Booker's like, all right, we're cool. Boom, stunner on Booker T. And you're like, oh, Stone Cold, you bad. And then
I never forgot that grocery store, bros.
And you know Shawn could sell it great in the ring if he's the last guy there. And he's like, you know what? Uh-oh, you know, like he's in trouble. And then Austin's like, you're Shawn Michaels, you know, we're cool. You're the Heartbreak Kid. I'm not going to.
Bygones are bygones.
And then, of course, Shawn, you know, stupid Shawn, he'll buy it. And then Austin, boom, but stunner, just like at WrestleMania 14. And then that's it. And then we go home and we go to the next segment. That's not closing the show. If Austin was wrestling, it would close the show. But Austin's not wrestling, which, you know, doesn't surprise me. Kevin Owens called him out for the Kevin Owens show at WrestleMania. He didn't call him out for a match. He did say, like, he threatened violence upon him. Which, by the way, weird way to get a guy to be on your show. You know, like, I'm going to invite Stone Cold Steve Austin on this show. Stone Cold Steve Austin, I would really like you to be a guest on this show. I have a lot of questions for you. You would really help the show. You know, I don't want Shawn Michaels or Booker T on Wrestling Uncensored. They're not as important as you, Stone Cold. I want you on the show because you're a big star. And when you come on, I'm going to beat the shit out of you when you show up. You're dead meat, Stone Cold, because you're a broken down piece of shit. Like, why would he accept that invitation?
And the way they were selling it, they were saying, like, oh, this is Stone Cold's first WrestleMania in 19 years, like referencing his match with The Rock at Mania 19. But Stone Cold's been on several WrestleManias since then. He's been on several talk show segments at WrestleMania. He was on a Piper's Pit. He did that promo with Hogan and The Rock at the beginning of Mania 30. You know, he's made several appearances. He was an enforcer a few times. Like, Stone Cold's no stranger to WrestleMania, as I post in Ring Retard, but they're saying, like,
how are they going to sell
WrestleMania?
WrestleMania?
Making it seem like it's his first match.
They can say WrestleMania 19 is what they're saying?
Yeah, they're saying, like, oh, it's his first WrestleMania appearance in 19
Wasn't
years.
he like a special referee for Goldberg and Brock at WrestleMania 20?
Yeah.
He was there the next year.
And Mania 21.
How is
that
this
was Piper's Pit?
How is this a different appearance than that or any other appearance that Stone Cold has had at WrestleMania since retiring?
It's weird.
Every appearance that Stone Cold has had since retiring is a promo and a stunner and a beer bash. Sometimes there's a stunner, sometimes there's no stunner because he can't do it. But most of the times there's been a stunner and a beer bash, and that's about it. And that's what we're going to see again here at WrestleMania. And, you know, okay, it's cool for Kevin Owens. He gets to have a segment with Stone Cold at WrestleMania. It's something off the bucket list. So good for Kevin Owens, I suppose. But I'm not Kevin Owens. I'm a guy who watches wrestling, and I think the Stone Cold bit where he comes out and he cuts a promo and he kicks people and he stuns them and then he does a beer bash is kind of like, it's like, I'm not going to say I don't like it because I do like it. I like Stone Cold. He could come out and do that and I will enjoy it, but it's not groundbreaking and it's not something that I need to see all the time. If you want to trot him out once a year at WrestleMania and have him stun somebody and do a beer bash, fine. It's a little segment at WrestleMania. But will it be the highlight of night one of WrestleMania? No. It won't be, and will it? And it's not going to be something that'll sell the show for me or a lot of people. I think if you said Stone Cold Steve Austin is going to wrestle his first match since WrestleMania 19, that would be like, okay, well, what the hell is this going to be? And how is this, this would draw people in. But Stone Cold on an interview segment with Kevin Owens at WrestleMania is like, yeah, okay. What else is on the card? What It doesn't move the needle. It doesn't make a difference.
It all depends. Basically, this segment will depend on like Austin's promo. Will it just be, Kevin Owens, if you want to see me kick his ass, give me a hell yeah. Or, if he'll like have some fun, say some funny lines.
It could be,
like, you're staring at me with your beady little eyes.
Sure, it could be a good promo,
but that's what the segment's going to depend on.
Yeah, but it's not like the rumors were a match, and now we're getting a promo, and it's kind of like, all right, well, cool, I guess. Like it's fun, but it's to me like if you told me. Kevin Owens has been cutting promos about working out, and he thinks that lifting weights is really stupid, and he doesn't lift weights, and he also doesn't like saying prayers or eating vitamins. And then Hulk Hogan comes out, and it's like, I'm gonna be at KO Mania, brother, and I'm gonna do the thing on your show, brother. And then he hits the big boot and the leg drop. That to me is just as exciting as Stone Cold doing his beer bash thing. It's like an old legend coming back to do a promo and a finisher. Honestly, Hogan doing it would be better because like Hogan hitting the leg drop at this point would be shocking.
Oh
like,
God.
Yeah, Austin hitting the stunner, cool. Hogan hitting a leg drop right now would be like groundbreaking. It would be shocking to me. But yeah, like it's cool. I love Stone Cold, but whatever.
If you ask me, remember when's the lowest form of conversation.
Yeah, that's it. And it's just like, well, we have nothing for Kevin Owens. What are we gonna do? Well, he does a stunner, right? Yeah. Well, maybe we can get Steve to like do a match. Steve, can you do a match? No. You think Stone Cold's gonna do a match? If you want Stone Cold to do a match, give me a hell yeah. Oh, click. I don't know if they said hell yeah, so fuck it.
Or give me $50 million.
Get me a beer. Yeah, like I don't think Stone Cold wants to sully his reputation and his good name and the memory of Stone Cold with a shitty match that he would have in 2022. I think I've heard enough of Steve Austin and what he said about his career and how people feel about him that he knows better. I think he sees guys like Shawn Michaels who came back for one too many matches, even Taker to a certain extent, although he did get to kind of end on the right note in the end with AJ, but he did kind of stick around a little bit past the time when he should have. Like that Goldberg match could have been real bad,
Kurt Angle.
Kurt Angle maybe, but that was a different story. That was more how WWE booked him, but like Austin doesn't want to come back and just look like an old guy who can't do anything anymore. I think Austin wants you to remember him as the guy that wrestled at WrestleMania 19 against The Rock. Like, that's the last match. It's your biggest rival, I mean, he beat you on the way out. There's no better way to do it as a professional wrestler. It was in the peak Austin era. It happened. It's over. There's no reason to come back and have a match where people who've never seen you can see you and think, oh, this is Stone Cold Steve Austin, And I can't imagine that he's in a place physically, given the neck injuries and everything, that he could come back and do something where you'd be like, wow, you still got it type of thing. Let's see Stone Cold wrestle again. Like, I would love for it to be the case. Like if Stone Cold could come back like Edge came back and like have another run, holy shit.
That would be insane.
That would be the greatest thing ever, but I don't think so. Given what I know about Steve Austin, I just don't think that's going to happen right now. And I don't think, that's why I think that's why he doesn't want to wrestle a match, because he's just not physically able to wrestle a match that'll have the quality that he wants. Yeah, I mean, Sting's different, right? Doug's saying, what about Sting? Like, that guy flew off. Did you see that?
I saw the spot.
Jumped out of the crowd, threw 3 tables on Andrade. Like, it's crazy, But Sting doesn't have the neck issues that Steve Austin did. Sting didn't have to retire in his late 30s. Like, Austin retired, he was, like, still 38 or 39 or something. Like, he was a young guy. He could have gone another, like, look at Sting, right? Imagine if Austin could have wrestled as long as Sting has wrestled, but wasn't in the cards. I would love for him to have a miraculous comeback and have another run or just be able to come back and have one match, but I just don't think he's going to do it. And this thing with Kevin Owens, it is what it is. I love Stone Cold, and this is as good as you're going to get if you're a Stone Cold fan. So at least we're getting Stone Cold, but, Kevin Owens going to take a stunner. And
I'll watch the segment.
It's just kind of, I don't think we'll get anything unexpected, I want to expect the unexpected, pal, but I don't think we'll get anything unexpected.
I mean, we already had like a Stone Cold and Vince segment the last time I think Austin was on TV. It was like Raw 1000 or something. We had Austin and Vince.
Yeah.
But like, they gave us something like that again, But, backstage or something.
Yeah, a brief encounter, I guess, but even that is like, yeah, it's cool. It's like, nostalgia for a minute, but it doesn't do anything past that moment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's a
like,
brief hit of dopamine.
It's like, all right, cool. A little shot there with Stone Cold. All right. What else do we have? What's next? Oh, it's Baron Corbin versus Drew McIntyre.
Oh.
Okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, that's kind of
makes it really long for the old days.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, cool. Kevin Owens and Stone Cold. That's fun. What's next? Oh, it's Rey and Dominic against Miz and Logan Paul. You know what I mean? Like, that's what's going to happen, and they give you a little bit of like, hey, it's Stone Cold, but also could you please watch Drew wrestle Corbin at WrestleMania? Like, we have this for you. Sorry. Ugh. All right, what else happened on Raw? So we talked about the good stuff. Kevin Owens is great. He's going to get his thing with Stone Cold, and that's cool. It's good. It's good for Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens is a guy from here, so good for him. What else happened on Raw? We had, of course, the tag team match, Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley getting the win over Zelena Vega and Carmella. Rhea had a nasty riptide on Zelena Vega. Rhea just seems rougher than ever. And Carmella, during the match, Zelena went to tag her, but Carmella was just sitting there ringside talking to Corey Graves, who's on commentary, and of course they're like married or engaged or something. They have a YouTube show, and Zelena just didn't have her partner. So Liv Morgan and Rhea were able to kind of take advantage and win. And this match had the stipulation of if Liv and Rhea win, they get to be inserted into the tag team title match at WrestleMania. So Zelena and Carmella are the tag team champions. You would think that they would not want to lower their chances of winning at WrestleMania, but Carmella seems to not care at all.
Yeah.
It's like they talk so much about, well, if it's a one-on-one match, then you have better chances than if it's a triple threat match. And it's WrestleMania, it's really important, and you're the champions, and you would think it would be important for Carmella to be involved in this match with such a big stipulation, but she was just talking to Corey Graves, which she can do literally any other time than right there during the match.
And be, like, completely oblivious to anything else. She doesn't ever, like, look back at the ring during this time or anything. It's just so choreographed.
And it's like, don't tell us you care so much about WrestleMania and your tag team titles when you obviously don't. Like, it's just stupid. And when there's a stipulation like that on the line, Carmella looks bad by just not caring at all and just being engrossed in Corey Graves for some reason. And it's not like this is a running gimmick that she's been doing where she goes to matches and she just talks to Corey. This is the first time. And there's something on the line at the same time. Like, why now?
And it's clearly going to lead to, like, their split.
Then did Rhea and Liv need Carmella out of the picture to get a win over these two? Like, you're telling me Rhea Ripley...
Liv Morgan is higher up on, like, the pecking order.
Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan, on their own, couldn't beat Carmella and Zelena Vega. Carmella need to be distracted in order for them to legitimately beat the great Carmella and Zelena? Like, what?
It doesn't make any sense. And it also just kind of I mean, it's a way to have a space for Rhea. More importantly at Mania. But it just shows that they don't have that much confidence in her right now. Like, she's being put back into another tag team. You know, it sucks for Nikki Ash. She's like totally out in the dark.
She was in a team with Nikki Ash, and they're like, break them up, have Rhea beat Nikki, and then let's disappear Nikki and put Rhea with Liv Morgan but that's not
the same thing.
But
again?
It's not the plan. It's not like that was the plan. Like, okay, we need to get rid of Nikki and put Rhea with Liv because we really want that. It was, okay, let's break up this Rhea Nikki thing because it's not really working. We don't really like it anymore. What do we do with Rhea for WrestleMania? Are we gonna do the women's battle royal? I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe we do a tag team thing with her and Liv, because Liv, we got to do something with her. Let's just put them together.
Essentially, like they never had any formation.
So now it's Rhea and Liv versus Zelena and Carmella versus Naomi and Sasha. And again, Sasha, another star who's just kind of tossed in this tag team with Naomi, and it lowers Sasha's stock. Yeah. And that's just a weird match that's happening, and who knows who else might be added to it at this point, right? I could see somebody else jumping in.
I'm trying to think, but Shotzi or somebody. Natalia.
My God, Brian Firth says he's watched every episode of Carmella and Corey.
I'm sorry.
Well, maybe he likes it. I mean, if he started with one episode and then watched another one, maybe he likes it.
I guess.
Why did you do this, Brian? I'd like to know why. Like, is it good?
Is there a lot of episodes?
Should I watch it? Because if he's watched every episode, like, maybe there's something to it. Maybe I should be watching this show.
I mean,
like, if you watch one and you're like, more, because to me, you would watch 5 minutes of it and be like, all right, that's enough. But if you're watching a whole episode and then you're like, I'll watch the others, it's got to be.
Maybe they're short episodes.
I mean, Brian watches our show all the time, so he's obviously got some taste. You know what I'm saying? So he must know something. Maybe I should watch Corey and Carmella just like Brian did.
I mean, we watched Total Divas.
Of course.
Is Total Bella still on the air?
No, I don't think so. But maybe I will watch Carmella and Corey. I mean, I don't really want to, but maybe maybe it's good. I don't know.
I don't know if I want to know about Corey Graves' personal life.
I do.
You know, Carmella, I remember, I think she was on Total Divas. She was like one of the people, wasn't she?
I think so, yeah.
Or is it Breaking Ground?
No, she was on like Total Divas too, I think.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. And I don't really want to know about Corey Graves and Carmella. I don't really care. Like, I don't know. Maybe they're interesting.
I don't know. I remember Carmella not being too interesting.
Yeah,
from like reality shows.
I can't imagine it being a good show. That's why I haven't.
She was friends with Bailey.
That's why I haven't checked it out. Like, I'm down to watch a good reality show about wrestling, but I just never thought to watch that one because I don't know. Harold Schneider says never watched any reality show except one episode in the first season of Survivor. Wow.
Oh, that was a good season.
Well, that's a rarity, Howard. I mean, Harold. Sorry. Harold, I've definitely watched way more reality shows than you have, but wow. I mean, I've watched Kardashians. I've watched everything. Tough Enough. You didn't watch Tough Enough, Harold. Thank you, Harold, by the way.
Boo Boo.
Thank you, Harold. You're the super chat leader so far tonight. Thank you.
Whatever happened to her?
Honey Boo Boo? Yeah, I watched Honey Boo Boo. That was a good one. She's still alive.
Oh, good.
I mean, she was a child at the time, so you would expect her to still be alive. She's like much younger than we are. She's still
an unhealthy.
You know what? I think she's still a child. I'm pretty sure Honey Boo Boo's still a kid. She may be a teen at this point, but Honey Boo Boo's still alive. We love you, Honey Boo Boo. All right.
Surprised she's not like an influencer.
Stay strong, Honey Boo Boo. I think she's had it kind of rough since the show's ended. Her mom's had some problems, I think.
Yeah.
I feel for Honey Boo Boo. I'm on Team Honey Boo Boo. All right. I hope she's all right.
And I forget. There was one of the sisters who was like really like out of it.
I don't know. She got a bunch of sisters.
Yeah.
I didn't follow the Honey Boo Boo saga
reality
when the show ended. It was just kind of like a moment in time.
It's been a long time since I watched a reality show, and I think that's okay.
I can't remember the last reality show that I've watched.
Was it 90 Day Fiancé?
Yeah, I don't really watch that though. I mean,
No.
sometimes I'll tune in and watch like a few minutes of 90 Day Fiancé because it's just such a crazy show. But like, I can't remember the last reality show that I actually sat down and
I think it was Honey Boo Boo
watched.
for me.
Oh, I
Or Total
actually
Divas.
a few months ago I watched All the Hills.
Oh yeah.
Like not like the old, but the Hills came back. Like they had a new season of the Hills with Tommy Lee and Pamela Anderson's son on it. Brandon Lee, I think his name is, and Brody Jenner.
Oh yeah, he's still there.
Yeah. And Heidi and Spencer. You remember those two?
Yeah, I remember them.
Yeah. So they did like a new season
They're
of
kinda
the
like
Hills.
Heels. And
I think they did two new seasons. Yeah, they did 2 seasons of the Hills, and Audrina and Justin Bobby and all that stuff.
so they're all like older now.
Yeah,
and,
they're
like,
older.
Super.
Things have
like,
gone wrong.
Their faces are all messed up.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much they look the same, which is weird. But things have gone wrong, and things are still weird. It was a weird show, but for some reason I got sucked in and I watched like 2 full seasons of it, and that was the last reality show I watched. And I'm almost ashamed to admit it, but fuck it. What are you gonna do? I watched it.
No one wants to admit they ate 9 cans of ravioli,
No,
but you do it.
you fucking do it sometimes. Doug Hepburn says the first season of The Ultimate Fighter was great. Yo, I watched Ultimate Fighter. I watched the last season of The Ultimate Fighter even. I watch Ultimate Fighter pretty much every season. I think there's maybe 1 or 2 seasons of Ultimate Fighter that I've missed, but I like The Ultimate Fighter. I think it's a great show. I like reality shows. Like, I like that style of TV. And then when you end it with a fight in the octagon, it's like, yeah, perfect. This is I'm surprised more people don't watch The Ultimate Fighter. It's the best reality show as far as I'm concerned, because it's like you follow 2 guys, you follow their training, you get to know their story. Then at the end of the show, they fight each other. For real. It's tremendous.
Because there's always people on reality shows who are like, man, I wish someone would just slap the taste out of their mouth. This one, it fulfills that need.
It happens. And there's
the
been
coaches too sometimes get into it.
And there's been
the
some
Ronda Misha Tate season was fantastic.
Yeah, and there's been some tremendous fighters that have come out of The Ultimate Fighter. Like some of the best fighters in the history of the UFC have come out of The Ultimate Fighter. Not just Forrest Griffin and Stephan Bonner, but Michael Bisping, Rashad Evans, Nate Diaz, Tony Ferguson. So many of these great fighters that you've watched in big pay-per-view main events, title fights, world champions.
Demetrius?
Have come. No. A lot of great fighters have come out of the Ultimate. Juliana Pena came out of the Ultimate Fighter, the current world champion at 135. There's a lot of great talent that's come out of the Ultimate Fighter, and this way you get to know them kind of ahead of the game. Brian Battle won the last season of the Ultimate Fighter. Very impressive guy out of Alaska. I really like the Ultimate Fighter. It was good, and then you get to see the coaches' rivalries too. Volkanovski and Ortega were the coaches last season. They're doing a season right now. They're filming an Amanda Nunes and Juliana Pena season, which I'm excited about, that I'll definitely watch.
GSP was against Koscheck?
Yeah, GSP did one with Josh Koscheck. My favorite season was Rampage and Rashad, not just because Rampage and Rashad were so entertaining and the heat between them. Like, do you remember how much they hated each other?
Vaguely.
Rampage Jackson and Rashad Evans hated each other, and the heat between those two and the shit talking was so strong, and they coached the Kimbo season of The Ultimate Fighter. It was all heavyweights. Roy Big Country Nelson was on that season. Kimbo Slice was on that season. Brendan Schaub was on that season. Matt Mitrione. Like, a lot of good fighters were on that season. Roy Nelson wound up winning that season of The Ultimate Fighter, but that's my favorite season. I think it was season 10. It was all heavyweights, and it was coached by Rampage and Rashad, and Kimbo was on it, and Kimbo was a name at that point, and it was like, well, is he just this street fighting YouTube guy, or can he fight for real? Let's put him on The Ultimate Fighter. And then Roy Nelson took him down, put him in a crucifix, and just kind of baby punched him, but Kimbo couldn't defend, so the ref stopped it.
It was pretty quick, too.
It was pretty good. I don't know if did he stop it, or did he just win by decision that way? God damn, I can't remember. Kimbo Slice. I think it was a stoppage. I think it was like a TKO stoppage because he put him in a crucifix. Yeah, it was a TKO. Yeah, it was on The Ultimate Fighter in the second round. But I remember that. I remember that crucifix, and I remember seeing Kimbo under Roy Nelson, and Roy wasn't hitting him with a lot, but he just had him in that crucifix, and Kimbo was underneath, and he didn't know how to get out, and it was just like, well, and Roy with that big belly just kind of squashed him, and was not only huge, but he was also Brazilian. He was a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, and he was grappling with Kimbo Slice. Like, what do you think's gonna happen?
Yeah, Roy Nelson was a great.
He was good.
He's a great example of like looks can be deceiving.
Yeah,
you think like, oh, here comes this like bar fighter. This guy's a scrub, and he had a great chin too. Yeah,
he had a great chin, but he was high level as well. Like he could fight. Like he wasn't just a big scrappy guy. Like the guy was technical, and you have to be technical if you don't, if you kind of look like that, and but the cardio never kind of lacked. Like he did get tired, Roy Nelson, but like he fought.
He went the distance a few times.
He fought. Brian Firth dropping a super chat. Thank you, Brian. He says it's very short episodes, like 8 to 10 minutes per episode, so it's not bad in short spurts. Oh, okay. So it's short episodes. Maybe I'll watch the Corey and Carmella show. I don't know how many episodes they are, but maybe I'll get around to it.
I mean, it's got to be better than Miz and Mrs.
I haven't seen that. That's another one I didn't see. I didn't watch the Cody and Brandy show. I heard a lot about it. I heard people hated it. I haven't watched a lot of those shows, which is weird because it's usually the kind of stuff I would watch, but
we watched Total Divas, and I think that was the best version because that also had like John Cena
and Daniel Bryan
and Bryan Danielson and Miro.
Yes.
And like
it had good characters. Even John Moxley was on a bit.
And Ariane, who was Cameron with the Funky Idol, she was like fun to watch on that show. And like
Natty and TJ were fun to watch too.
Yeah, because and Jim Neidhart would often show up. And who's Natty's mother? Which Hart's sister?
Ellie.
Ellie, yeah. She'd be like, hey, Ellie Hart, I love you.
It's cool seeing
Brett
Ellie Hart.
Be there.
Yeah. Brett, I think, appeared on a couple episodes.
So like they had it was a good cast.
Yes.
But
a lot of it revolved around Bree and Brian, and just watching Bryan Danielson at home and like Bryan Danielson outside of his wrestling life was interesting to me, and John Cena too. He's a very strange character, really good reality show character.
Himself be depicted like that, especially since he's such a big star now. Like
he did not come off well.
No, like a weird control freak,
kind of like a robot man.
Like just one of those like weird things, like almost like if you read about those like idiosyncrasies and like tics, you'd like read it, be like, no, that's not true. But like he let himself be shown like that on TV.
Yeah, that's it. Like Cena would do a lot of weird stuff, and I mean he made Nikki sign a contract to live in the house with him. Just like she's moving in, she's your girlfriend, and she had to sign this like big contract, and it was really weird. And there was all sorts of other stuff, like Cena made people come down to dinner in like dressed up, and Brian didn't want to wear shoes because he's like in the house, but Cena's like, no, y'all have to wear shoes, and they have this like very formal dinner, and this is just how Cena lives. And then afterwards the women go into this room, and
the cigars,
and the men go into this room with in the cigar room, and then Cena's got this like cigar room in his house, and him and Johnny Ace and the brother JJ, the JJ Bella, who was just like the brother of the Bellas, and then Bryan Danielson. They're having this awkward conversation, and you can tell Bryan's looking at Cena like, "What the fuck are you, man? Like, you're weird." Like Bryan is just like, "What? This is weird. I don't want to do this, man."
They like, I remember like scenes with John and Nikki. They had like wine glasses like filled like all the way, like huge wine glasses.
You're like, man. And then Cena and Nikki would be like drinking several wine bottles, and it was just like Nikki would start to slur her speech, and Cena would say the same. You're like, how much is this guy drinking? What's going on here? It was weird. Yeah, Cena. Yeah, just seeing how John Cena lives his life, and also all that relationship shit with Nikki.
Especially the fact that he's like married now, and does he have a kid?
No, I don't think so.
But he's married now.
Yeah, but it was just really weird stuff on Total Divas that was worth watching just to see the freak show that is John Cena. He is a weird guy. He lives very strangely.
Lives in a castle.
Yeah. Oh, he lives in a castle. I was going to say by himself, but he's not anymore, so good for him. All right. Dana Brooke, not by herself. She's got Reginald with her, and they're a couple now.
Yeah.
I don't.
I thought Reggie was kind of like scheming to like get the belt and all that.
But now they're into each other.
Because she's giving him like physical.
She gave him a kiss. She asked for a kiss. They did a promo, and she's like, "Can I have a kiss before the match?" And then she gets a kiss from Reggie on the lips there, you know. And then Tamina and Tozawa, and Tamina kisses Tozawa, and then they have a match. It's Dana and Tamina, and Dana beats Tamina with a roll-up to retain the 24/7 title. And then Tozawa cuts this promo afterwards and says Dana cheated, and Tamina is the love of his life, and he wants a hug, but Tamina starts leaving, and then the crowd wants them to kiss, so Tamina blows Tozawa a kiss. So at times it seems like Tamina's into him, and then at times it seems like she's not, but I don't really care because it's a 24/7 title. But, yeah, that took up a bunch of time. It was not good.
No, it's not good. It's just all of this like derivative of like when Beth Phoenix and like Santino were together. Like it'll never be as good as that, but they keep trying to like recreate that of like
but
the big tough
Tozawa's
lady and the little like skinny guy. You know, like it's
Tozawa's not like a bad wrestler and all, but you know why?
Somebody likes him.
Like, why does
Evidently,
he exist?
somebody likes him.
Like, what the hell is this guy still doing on TV? Like, how does he have a job? Like, no disrespect, and I don't want him to lose his job, but given what he is and the fact that we've seen so much of him, it's like, why is all this Tozawa shit happening? Why are we seeing him so much in this ridiculous role as, like, Tamina's Reginald? And it's been going on for a while. This Tamina, Dana Brooke, 24/7 thing has been going on for months.
It's like the longest running storyline.
And it's awful.
And like R-Truth isn't even a part of it anymore. It's
Yeah,
the only interesting part.
Truth is actually funny. Tozawa's not funny. Tamina's not funny. Dana's not funny. Reggie's kind of funny, I guess.
Reginald's not bad.
He
flips and like he's got a goofy face. He was like doing a little dance like in the ring. It was kind of funny.
His little outfits, you know.
Yeah, like he wears like a suit, but like he flips
with like
around.
shorts and stuff. Yeah, Reginald's kind of funny.
Reginald's not bad. Like I see his purpose.
I don't hate Reginald. I don't like, but at the same time, if he disappeared, I'd be like, yeah, all right. That's run its course. You know what I mean? Like, at a certain point, it'll run its course.
Like James Ellsworth, you know?
And I thought it ran its course like 3 months ago. But it's still happening.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of this shit is like, why is this still happening?
I guess Vince loves it. He thinks it's the most entertaining thing.
Like, The Miz still exists, you know? Why is he still happening? Anyways, he cut a promo. They're in Cleveland, so, of course, the crowd chanting his name in his hometown, Cleveland, Ohio. Logan Paul comes out. He's also in Cleveland, or from there as well. But he got quite a few boos. Like, the crowd was behind The Miz, but it's still a wrestling crowd, so if you're not a wrestler, they're probably going to boo you, even if you're from there. Logan was talking nicely about growing up in Cleveland, but the fans were still booing him a bit. And then The Miz says, their parents didn't set us up. We were self-made, not like Dominic Mysterio, who was given a WWE contract way before he was ready, because of his father. And Miz wonders why the fans around the world boo him and cheer for Ray. And then Jerry Lawler shows up because he's from Memphis, but he grew up, I think, a bit in Cleveland, so he loves Cleveland and their sports teams and stuff like that. And he talks about being in Cleveland and loving it. And he's wearing a Browns jersey, and he's like, I was here in 1960-something when they won the championship, and it wasn't even called the Super Bowl back then.
Yeah.
Jerry Lawler's like 1,000,000 years old, and some of the crowd were like, yeah, we remember that too, Jerry.
Last time.
And most of the people were like, yeah, all right, cool. Man, what? When was that? He was like, I was 48 at that point. I was like, what? I was 48 in 1967. I had won the world title. I was like, what the hell? Anyways, Jerry is like, hey, why don't we do the WrestleMania match tonight? You guys are here. Let's get the Mysterios out here. Let's do the match tonight in Cleveland. And Miz is like, well, I love it here, but it's not really a WrestleMania type city. And then he starts to run down Cleveland, and he's like, I don't even live here anymore. And when you get success, you leave. And then he mentions some sports guys that have left and had success because winners leave Cleveland. And then Miz and Logan Paul leave the ring, And that's it. The Mysterios don't come out to be like, hey, we like Cleveland. It's just like, nope. You know, we like you. And then Jerry's like, let's do the match now. And then Miz is like, nah, because Cleveland's actually not so good. And real winners, they leave. And then him and Logan leave. And there was no follow-up. It just kind of ended.
I guess Jerry Lawler can't, call them, jackasses or something, or can't punch them because they have to look strong.
That segment called for them to beat up Jerry Lawler.
Yeah, but
you know what I mean? Like,
I don't think WWE wants that.
No, but if you want to get some heat, I mean, Jerry's still wrestling, okay?
He is still wrestling.
He does wrestle. WWE won't let him do it because of all their medical things he has to pass, but he does, wrestle indies and stuff. Like, if you want to give that segment some pop, if you want to get some heat for WrestleMania, this old man, wrestling legend, big, noted Cleveland sports fan, like, what are some things you know about Jerry Lawler? Like, that's one of the things you know. He's always been an Indians fan, or they're not the
Guardians.
Sorry. I got her. I can't call. Yeah, I know.
But, at the time.
I got used to calling them the Cleveland Indians. What are you going to do? They're the Guardians now. But he's like a big fan of all their sports teams. He comes out in the Browns jersey. He gets a big pop. The crowd turns on the Miz. Jerry's like, he should push the issue. Like, Miz says no because real winners leave Cleveland. And then Jerry should say, well, real winners may leave Cleveland, but I don't know what that means, Miz, because you're a loser.
Yeah, that's that's a very Jerry Lawler line, too.
Yeah. Very easy.
Logan Paul kicks him in the balls.
And then Logan Paul, kicks him in the balls, and Jerry falls down, and then Miz puts him in the figure 4 leg lock. Does Jerry get hurt in that? No, he's fine. And you know what? You get a ton of heat. You leave Jerry laying, you stand over Jerry, maybe you put your foot on his chest or something.
Lightly.
Miz yells at him, gets on the mic, stay down, old man, I'm going to give you another heart attack,
I mean, that's...
Well, do you want to get heat?
I know. I mean, yeah.
If this was AEW and MJF, that's what they would try and get done.
100%.
He hit Dean Malenko, MJF, and the guy's got Parkinson's. He dropped him, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you want to get heat or do you want to get heat? This segment was a dud. There was no heat. There was confusion from the crowd. They're like, well, we like you a lot because you're from here, but yeah, you don't want to give us the match, which we kind of understand. Like, it's supposed to be at WrestleMania. But then the Mysterios don't even come out and say, hey, or Miz and, Logan, they, crowd Jerry, and they're like, what are you saying? You're calling us losers, And then booyaka, booyaka, and then they come out, run them off, and then they pose with Jerry, and then there's, an end to the segment. This segment didn't have an end. This was just like, real winners leave, and then they leave, and then okay.
And that was it.
It was bad, and it could have been better easily. Maybe the Mysterios aren't there. Okay, well, get some heat on Jerry then.
Or even the Mysterios hit the ring, and then they get beaten down. That happens sometimes.
Sure, but do something. Just the way you ended that segment was awful, and it just made it useless. Completely useless for WrestleMania. But my God, if they could have beat down Jerry Lawler in Cleveland, it would have got some good heat for WrestleMania.
Yep. Good for the video package.
Would have been great.
Have Lawler at ringside at Mania, Just make it a whole kind of thing. Instead, they're just going to keep going.
Instead, not.
It's a trudge.
Braun Breaker was a high point of the show tonight. He teamed up with Tommaso Ciampa to get a win over Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode. Breaker with a really nice overhead belly-to-belly suplex in this one. The gorilla press into the power slam for the finish on Ziggler was beautiful. This was Braun Breaker's Raw debut, and thank God he didn't lose. I was just hoping of all hopes. This kid, you want to talk about a blue-chip athlete, this guy could be the future of the business. And it's his Raw debut. And it's a tag team match. He's the NXT champion. He's new. They're not building it as, his Raw debut and here's this new star. But nevertheless, this is his first match on Raw. He had to go out there and look good and look strong and win. Because this is a guy who in 3 years, I'd say in 2 to 5 years, could legitimately headline WrestleMania and beat Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Like, he's that type of talent. He's got enough youth on Roman that in 2 to 5 years, Roman will be at an age where it's time to kind of pass it along, and Braun will be at an age where it's time to get in the prime of your career and make some money. And he is the type of guy, the type of talent that you see as a future WrestleMania main eventer, big star for the company. So he had to win, and he had to look good tonight. And he did. Took a little too much offense for my liking from Dolph and Rude. But he won, and that was good. And then Dolph cut a promo afterwards saying, Braun and Ciampa, you're working together tonight, but tomorrow night on NXT, we're having a triple threat for the NXT title, so you can't work together. Braun should win that too. And it should be pretty good, actually. I'm going to check that out. Dolph, Ciampa, and Braun Breaker triple threat match on NXT tomorrow. That should be good. But I was satisfied with Braun Breaker's Raw debut. And I think a lot of people that have heard about Braun Breaker but have maybe not gone through the trouble of checking him out on NXT got a little peek at what this guy can do. And maybe got you to tune into NXT because you want to see more, which I think that's the goal. Should be the goal. But he was good, right?
Oh, yeah, he definitely shined in his Raw debut. Yeah, it is a little strange that they didn't make too much of a big deal out of it, because he is the NXT champion, and they usually like to kind of like prime the audience to be like, hey, keep an eye on this guy. But it wasn't really like that. It was just kind of like, hey, here's like a guy from NXT. He'll be on tomorrow. Like, didn't really feel like, like this guy will be on Raw. Like, nobody even, like, none of the commentators made, like,
no, because I
don't
think he's going to be, though. I think it's like, well, I mean, he may be on Raw one day, but I don't think there are any plans to put him on Raw in the near future. When he gets called up, he could be on SmackDown. You know what I mean? Like, I think he's NXT champion right now, and they're just like, here's a look at the NXT champion. He's got a match tomorrow night. But also, like, let's make sure that he goes over in this match tonight and that he looks pretty good. Mm-hmm. And he did. He did. And I was happy to see him because he's good. He's really good. So the match was better because he was in it. Him and Ciampa are a very good tag team, and Rude and Ziggler are too. So the match was quite good. And then we had Omas wrestle Apollo Crews. Omas pretty much just squashed Apollo Crews. He told Commander Aziz that he was next, and then Aziz and Omas faced off after the match. Aziz looked a little worried. I remember a time when Commander Aziz's name was Dabba-Kato, and he was beating people left and right on Raw Underground. You remember that? And Omas was just the doorman that Shane McMahon talked to once in a while. And now look how the tables have turned. Omas now is the star, and Dabba-Kato is just the bodyguard. But I guess they'll have a match that Omas will win. Because the WWE, I think at one point, thought maybe Dabba-Kato's our giant. But now, they're going with Omas.
Now, do you think this is happening at Raw? Or do you think they're actually going to put this on WrestleMania? Because Omas is talking about how he's going to take his spot at Mania, and he's going to...
Maybe Raw, or maybe, it's the Andre the Giant Battle Royal face-off type of thing, and the match will be revolving around them in some sort of confrontation.
And Omas will win that Battle
Royal. And
Royal.
Omas will win, and it'll be like, I'm the real giant here, because he won a Battle Royal. Omas should win the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. If you have any hopes of pushing this guy as your next giant, the Andre the Giant Battle Royal should be his first stop on that road. Like,
think.
If you don't do that, I think you drop the ball. Like, if Omas doesn't win the Andre Battle Royal at Mania, why have an Andre Battle Royal?
Or why have Omas?
Why have Omas?
Find a different giant.
Same thing, Yeah, exactly. And then we had Edge. Ugh.
Yeah, this was the real low point.
I love Edge, but goddamn, this stuff is horrible. Edge comes out with these black and purple lights on him, and it looked cool. He did like a slow entrance. He's like mean, evil Edge now. The lights look cool, but then he started talking. And he says he's going to talk directly to AJ Styles because he knows he's watching at home because he's beat up and he's injured after the attack that Edge laid on him last week. And Edge says, AJ, I attacked you to help you, to bring out the best out of you for WrestleMania because I want to face the best version of AJ Styles. And again, if you want the best version of your opponent, maybe not injure him a month before the match. If you want the best version of a guy, wouldn't you want him physically 100%, not just really mad and wanting revenge? How do you know that the injury that you did by concertoing him isn't permanent? How do you know he's even able to make the match at WrestleMania? And if he is, what if he's still got post-concussion syndrome and he's just pushing through the pain and he's not 100%? Then he's not the best version of himself. This whole thing that Edge, the whole crux of the matter that the entire story is based on is I'm Edge. I attacked AJ Styles because I want him to be the best version of himself. Well, then don't attack him. It's like saying, I want you to be at your best in this fight that we're going to have. So I'm going to hit you in the head with a chair, and then in 4 weeks we're going to fight. Yeah. Well, I'm not going to be at my best if you hit my face with a chair. Like, it's probably going to still hurt. Maybe you, leave me alone and let me train and rest and prepare, and then I'll be at my best.
I want you at your best when we have a foot race. Now stand still while I hit you in the knees with a baseball bat.
Exactly. How about,
a good lad.
I want you at your best, so I'm going to say all the mean things that I possibly can to get you really amped up and ready to fight me. No one in the UFC ever says, I want the best version of my opponent, and then goes and tries to, kill them 3 weeks before the fight. First of all, they'd be arrested because you can't do that. But second of all, it's ridiculous. I've heard UFC fighters say, I want the best version of my opponent. I hope he's training. I hope he's the very best version of himself. I hope he's fully prepared. That's what they're looking for. They're not looking for, I want the best version of my opponent, but I actually hit him with a chair 3 weeks ago. So,
or if he's fighting with a torn tricep, it's not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, or I'm going to say things that are going to motivate him to go and work his ass off to come and get me. Hey, AJ Styles, the earth is round. Oh, damn it. Hey, AJ Styles, you suck at video games. Hey, AJ Styles.
I'm cool with gay people.
Well, I don't know. We don't know that AJ Styles is
Edge.
homophobic, but there are thoughts that AJ Styles may be homophobic, but we don't. That's not confirmed. I don't want to sully the good man's name. He's a good man. He's AJ Styles. He's a phenomenal one.
Come on, man.
But he may have some views that don't necessarily reflect the views of Ringside Report Network.
There's some early AJ Styles matches and promos where he uses some slurs about.
Yes, he has used the F word, the bad F word, the one that we don't use.
Pretty casually.
Yeah, he has. That's true. So there is some thought that AJ may have.
Apparently, he might have used a racial slur on a talking shop.
Possibly.
It was
yeah.
He was off mic, but you could hear him.
I don't know if AJ Styles is a racist or a homophobe, but he may have some racist and homophobic insensitivities. Yes. You know what I mean?
He's a Very Christian man from Georgia.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean
it doesn't.
anything bad. I think that AJ, he's a Republican.
Yeah.
But just because you're a Republican doesn't mean you're a racist or a homophobe. You know what I mean?
There's a lot of gay Republicans.
Yeah, there's all sorts of different kinds of Republicans. I just think that AJ Styles. I think AJ Styles, he definitely did talk about being a flat earther.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that he supported some Republican kind of things publicly, but I don't really care about that because I love AJ Styles. That's the thing about AJ Styles and about a lot of wrestlers that I may not agree with everything that they think. AJ Styles, whatever his views on things, I definitely disagree with his views on the Earth. I think AJ Styles, if you think the Earth is flat or a cube or whatever, I disagree with that because I'm pretty sure the Earth is like a round thing. So that
It's
I
a
disagree with.
compromise we make.
But I don't give a shit because AJ Styles is still one of the greatest wrestlers I've ever seen. He's the phenomenal one. And if I ever talk to AJ Styles, I don't think that the shape of the Earth or his views on homosexuality or race would ever come up. I think if I talked to AJ Styles, it'd be pretty much about wrestling. And that's really what I care about with wrestlers and wrestling people. I don't really care about their views on the world. For some reason, a lot of wrestlers feel the need to tell you about their views on everything. But I think that a lot of them would be better to keep their mouth shut. I think that goes to a lot of people. You know, you don't have, just because you have an opinion doesn't mean you have to tell everybody about it all the time. There's a lot of opinions out there that are just like, man, you know what I mean? Like, I tweeted it out before. I was like, I think I'm the only Twitter user who's not an expert in geopolitics. You know, there's a war breaks out, and then suddenly everybody who was a virus expert 3 months ago is now this goddamn war expert. And it's like, dude, you're not that deep. You don't know about that much. You know what I mean? It's like, come on. So it's just a lot of times, you know, like AJ Styles, you know, I like him a lot as a wrestler. I don't know much about him. I don't want to know much about him because no matter who you are, if you're a human being, like, we got to stop treating people like everybody's a politician. Like, you need to know their thoughts on every little detail because not everybody's a leader. You know what I mean? With politicians, scrutinization is all right. But a lot of these people, like wrestlers or whatever, like, we don't need to be scrutinizing their every thought or opinion because it really doesn't matter. They're there to wrestle. I don't really care. And I think a lot of people will be better off not saying that shit, not giving their opinion about a lot of different things because no one is going to agree with you for 100% of the shit that you say. You know what I mean? Like, there's going to be like you and I, we might agree on 95% of shit. But if there's 5% of shit that we disagree on, and I keep telling you about that 5% of shit, you might not like me as much. You know what I mean? And that goes for a lot of people. Like, people are going to tell you, like, hey, I really like wrestling. I like MMA. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. And I think the earth is flat and Jews are the devil. And I'm like, whoa. You could have kept that to yourself. You know what I mean? It's like things go a little crazy sometimes. And it's like, I don't need to hear your every opinion about every little thing because you got crackpot opinions and I got crackpot opinions too. We all have our weirdo opinions on different things, but I'm smart enough to, you know, keep my mouth shut sometimes when I know that I'm no expert. When I talk about wrestling, I know what the hell I'm talking about. I'm not going to tell you, like, I could tell you all the details about Ukraine and shit like that. I don't know. I mean, war sucks. When people die, it sucks. When you're a refugee, it sucks. I feel bad for the people. But, like, I don't know shit about what's going on. I'm no expert.
There's something I like to tell myself when I'm, like, you know, finding that compromise, you know, between, like, separating the art and the artist and that kind of thing of, like, it's, what I say is, like, if I had a baseball team comprised of players who, like, you know, I would get along with personally, I think they'd be a pretty lousy baseball team.
Yeah, I don't care, man. I don't need to get along with
my
people.
My favorite players, if I heard what they really think, I'd be like, well, this is kind of messed up.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. You might still get along with those guys because you could just talk baseball with them and you'd be good.
But if then they start going, like, a lot of, like, say baseball players, you know, a lot of them are, like, very, you know, religious, so they'd probably be like, hey, let me talk to you about, like, what you're missing in your life. You're missing
okay,
Christ.
But that's the thing. Some of those,
it's like, okay,
but those guys need to. But those guys need to chill out and, you know, stay in their own lane because when they do that, then they're encroaching upon you, and then it's like, yo,
but you telling me to go away is actually me needing to be here to tell you about Jesus.
Yeah, but that's, you know.
You know, there's a lot of, like, weirdo baseball players.
Yeah, okay, but whatever. People are going to throw their views on you sometimes, and then, you know, if you don't agree with that or if you don't need that in your life, you just kind of distance yourself from those people, and it is what it is. But for the most part, like, there's AJ on the chat. You know, AJ is my brother. I mean, not literally my brother, but he's my man, you know? And me and AJ disagree on a lot of stuff, and AJ's got some crazy ideas, and I've got some crazy ideas, and sometimes our crazy ideas don't always mesh, but we're buddies, and we agree on martial arts, and a lot of times we disagree on fights and all that stuff, but fundamentally, we agree on a lot of things, and we don't need to be just arguing about the shit that we disagree on all day. You know, it's unnecessary and it doesn't serve a point and it doesn't bring anybody together. And I think that's, you know, I mean, we're getting real kind of bigger than Raw right now. But I think a lot of the reason why there's so much hostility with people these days and people are so angry is because you hear everybody's opinion and you're like, you would like most people that you, like, I can't tell you how many people that I know that I pretty much like, and then like you follow them on Twitter, and then you see their every opinion. You're like, I don't really like you that much anymore. You know what I mean? Because you're like, God damn, man. Like most of the shit you say is cool, and then some of the shit you say, you're like, what? You're an idiot. You know? And then you're just like, blah, get out of here. And there's a lot of that. It's like, man, if everybody just kind of, I think there'd be more peace. You know? I think there'd be more peace in the world and less rage if, you know, we didn't have social media and people giving you their fucking opinion every 5 minutes on every little thing.
True.
On every little thing. You know. But I'm going to give you my opinion on every little thing that happened on Raw. And it's going to be on YouTube, which is a form of social media. So I realize the hypocrisy that is coming out as I'm saying this. But at the same time, I think I am an expert in professional wrestling. I've been watching it for a very long time. I've been involved in it for a very long time. And, yeah, we know what the fuck we're talking about here on the Ringside Report Network. But I tell you what, I'm not going to give you a big thought. Like, a lot of these, like, a lot of wrestling shows or MMA shows, some of these guys, they come on and be like, well, let's talk about the war a little bit and let's give it. I was like, no, man, shut the fuck up. You know, like, nobody needs to hear your thoughts about that. I'm not going to tell you my thoughts on the war because I don't have thoughts. I think war sucks. That's it. I think it's kind of wild, though, that in 2022 there's still countries, like, invading other countries. I'm like, man, we're still doing that.
There's a lot of, like, proxy wars, and, like, there's wars that don't get, like,
yeah, there's
Saudi
a lot
Arabia has been, like, shelling Yemen for, like, God knows how long now.
Forever, yeah.
It never gets reported.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the U.S.
Syria is still going on in, like, a civil war, isn't it?
U.S. is droning people left and right. And
Oh, yeah.
kinda,
They're everywhere.
Drones are just another thing. Yeah, I mean, there's always
Proxy
war.
wars.
There's always war going on. It's just, like, sometimes certain wars get more press, I guess. Is that what's going on? Like, is this war bigger than other wars going on right now? Or is it just, like, the new one that's getting a lot of play because it could get worse? I can't quite tell. See, that's the thing. I don't know shit about what's going on. I'm just going to come on here and ask questions because I don't really know what's happening.
Yeah, because I was of the opinion, like, things weren't going to escalate. So, you know, I guess I got owned.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't have an opinion because I don't know. I just know Putin is like a wild character in the world, and like you see him, and you're like, damn, what's going on with this guy? And like, you know, people are mad, and
I know what his opinions are on gay people.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to like them.
No,
not at all.
No.
Yeah, which seems bad. You know, a lot of the things that he's doing seem bad. I gotta say, I don't think I'm pro Putin. So if he's at war with another country, I think most people are like, oh, that other country is probably right because Putin's not so good. But I don't know about Ukraine so much. Mm-hmm. But
I've learned a bit. I've heard some podcasts.
I haven't learned anything because I don't want to hear about it. Because I really
NATO.
I don't need to educate myself on this stuff because, you know what I mean? It's a bummer.
It's a bummer, yeah. But
if I was listening to this podcast about fucking Ukraine, then I couldn't listen to Tommy Dreamer on the fucking JBL and Jerry Briscoe show.
Listen to both?
No, I can't listen to both because after I listened to that, I had to listen to Keith Lee on the Chris Jericho show. You think I have fucking time to sit around and listen about Ukraine? I got fucking information about professional wrestling that I need to get to, okay? I'm listening to fucking wrestling podcasts. You know what I'm saying? Had to hear what Jim Cornette thought about Cody Rhodes leaving AEW. Had to hear what Bradshaw. Had to hear what Ric Flair thought about Cody Rhodes leaving AEW. Ric Flair's got a podcast. You think I can miss that? To learn about Ukraine? No, thank you. That's a bummer. And you know what? No matter what podcast I listen to, I could listen to fucking 6 hours of podcast. I'm still not going to be an expert. I still won't know shit.
Not an expert.
You know what? No, but you still won't really know shit. You might learn a little bit from the fucking people that are telling you this narrative that they're trying to play out. Like, I'm not interested. I know enough about wrestling that I could learn more about it and become more well-versed. Mm-hmm. I don't need to know about all these other things. That's my stance on it.
Sometimes it's good to learn about a little like context, so you
Why?
know if ever like it becomes more of an issue, you know what everyone's like upset about or what's going on.
What do
I mean?
Why do I need to know what everybody's upset about? I want to know what
'cause, like,
people
you hear
are
in the
happy
news,
about.
You know what I mean?
It's a bummer. I don't need to read the news. Is it happening to me?
It might not, but like it might affect you.
I don't know. It's not happening to me. I think it affects me because gas prices are higher, and they tell me that there's the reason why that is affecting because of the war, maybe. So that's how it affects me, right? Is gas prices high because of war? I don't know. You know what I mean? It doesn't really affect me that much. I mean, I feel for the people there, but I mean, no disrespect to them, but I'd rather not know because it's a bummer.
Well, not just on Ukraine, just like on general kind of like issues and things. Just have an idea of like what's going on.
I got fights to watch.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, I got to make money betting on fights. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got research to do. I haven't even watched all of AEW Revolution. I don't have time. I got pro wrestling and MMA to watch. And you know what? That's why I'm here, and that's why I'm an expert in that, and that's what I'm doing for you. I don't have time for anything. And I get what you're saying. Like, oh, it's good to know about things. But to me, a lot of that news shit is just a bummer. And when it's really important, somebody will tell me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? If it's really important, it's like, yo, we're about to be invaded. I'll be like, all right, well, let's get to work. You know what I mean? Then I'll figure it out. But if there's like a war happening on the other side of the world, like I get that it's sad, but what am I going to do?
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, there's nothing you can really do.
I mean, I'm just gonna keep watching wrestling and telling all my Ukrainian friends about it and hope they enjoyed it. And all my Russian friends too. You know what I mean? Like, what can I do?
Yeah.
I like the Klitschko's, but I also like Fedor and Khabib. I'm torn. You know what I mean? Fucking Umar Nurmagomedov, he goes, oh, thank you, da da da. He's doing his like post-fight speech, you know? And then the translator translates what he's saying to the American audience there in the arena. Umar won. And Umar, who's Khabib's cousin from Russia, you know, he's thanking his friends, and he thanked all his friends in Russia and stuff. So the translator goes, you know, thank you to people in Dagestan, thank you people in Russia. And the crowd is like, boo, Russia. Like, they started booing Russia. And I'm like, he's just thanking his friends in his home country. Like, you don't have to boo him, you know, but that's just kind of the way it is.
I was thinking more just like in like, you know, general like civil rights issues and stuff. It's always good to have like an awareness of like what is happening.
Well, I'm aware of things that have happened in the past. I mean, at this point, I'm kind of over it. I don't know. What do you need to know now?
Well, just, you know.
I know everything I need to know.
There's still, you know, ongoing, you know, things. And
what?
You know, there's all sorts of, you know, I mean, I don't want to get too into it, but, you know.
Well, there's political shit going on, and you're interested in that. But I'm telling you, I'm not interested.
I know, but, like, to not be interested, but things still happen whether you're interested or not.
Yeah, but I don't need to know about it. You know what I mean? I don't need to know about it, and ignorance is bliss. You know? Not knowing about it, I'm telling you, makes you a happier person. I used to know about more shit like that, but I gave it up because why? It's just like there's nothing you could do. It sucks. That's a shame. You know? That's how I feel.
I get it. But, like, you know, but then, like, you know, someone could tell you, like, oh, be mad at this, and you might not know why, and, you know, you'll
But
still
I'm
be
not.
mad at it.
No, I'm not, though.
Well, you might not, but, like, a general person, you know.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about I'm talking about me. This guy.
Yeah.
I don't need to know. I'm not interested. I want to know about Kanye West. What's he doing? What's Hulk Hogan up to? What's Stone Cold doing? What's Vince doing? What's Dana White thinking? Where's George St. Pierre right now? That's what I need to know. Where's Conor? Where's Conor McGregor? You know? And that's why I'm here on the Ringside Report Network, baby. And not on CNN or all the other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You should go on CNN if you like that stuff.
No, but CNN.
All right. Let's not get into it. All right, cool. God bless everybody. We love you. Thank you to everybody tuning in to all this nonsense.
Don't get me started on CNN.
All right. Brian Firth, you're the Super Chat leader of the night. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Harold Schneider, as well, for dropping the Super Chats. Appreciate you guys. AJ saying he should not be at fault for Trudeau and his decisions. Like, yeah, that stuff a little bit. I'm more interested in a little bit like how Canada's going. Because there I have a say and I can vote, but even your vote, I mean, your vote doesn't count. Let's be honest. But, it's supposed to count or something. You know what I mean? So I like to be an informed voter, so I kind of pay attention to what's happening in Canada and in Quebec and in Montreal. But, like, across the world, there's only so much I know about. Like, I don't know anything. I could name one city in Ukraine. You could probably name a few more now because it's more popular. You know what I'm saying? But, like,
I'm still in Kiev.
I never knew shit about Ukraine before, and I still don't know shit about Ukraine. And it's like, well, it's I know that there's a war and it's sad, but, like, I don't like to do a deep dive in that shit because it's like, well, it's just because it's happening now, and I'm, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Well,
what are you going to do?
Well, I mean,
nothing. You can't do nothing. Vote for Pedro. Exactly.
well,
Pedro
it has to do with
Martinez.
NATO,
He already got voted in a Hall of Fame. See, I know about that. Pedro Martinez voted in a Baseball Hall of Fame. That's important. I know about baseball. I know there's no baseball. That's important. That's what I'm talking about. That's shit that affects me and my life. I sound very callous right now. I'm like, I don't care about people dying. I care about Major League Baseball. It's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, I'm going to watch baseball. It makes me happy. It adds something to my life. Watching people dying in Ukraine doesn't add anything to my life. It's just a bummer. It's like, I know it's happening. I don't need to know, Keep that shit away from me. Doug Hepburn dropping a super chat. Thank you, Doug. He says, thanks, guys. I think Doug's the new super chat leader of the night.
Hey,
there you go, Doug.
Say Ukraine weak.
Ukraine is game to you.
I think okay, but I smash it.
Like, to me, that's all I know about Ukraine is in Seinfeld when Kramer and Newman are playing Risk on the subway, and, Kramer is, like, shit-talking Newman, and he's like, Newman's like, I still have Ukraine. He's like, Ukraine's weak, and da-da-da. And the guy's like, and then there's this guy with the hat and the whole outfit, and he's like, I'm from Ukraine. And he's like, no, this is just a game. Ukraine is game to you? And then he's like, I'm from Ukraine. You say Ukraine weak? And then he's like, no, pal, this is just a game. Ukraine game to you? How about I take your board and I smash it to pieces?
Fantastic.
And then he smashes it to pieces on the subway.
Nobody wins the game.
But yeah, when I think of Ukraine, that's like the first thing I think of. And let's be really real. If you met a guy that was from Ukraine on the street, you would think he's Russian.
Yeah.
Because that accent, the English accent, like guys from there that talk English, they have a similar accent. It's hard to tell.
But like,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But like, there's issues. Like, for example, I'm not trans, but I care about trans issues because I have trans friends. Like, it doesn't affect me personally, like myself as a being, but I know people, so I care. About those issues.
It's not like I don't care, but I don't I don't read about it or like I'm not paying attention really. Like, it's sure it's good to. I support it.
That's all I'm saying.
I'm in favor. C'est bon. Thank you. All right. God bless. I'm done. We're done. Okay. Doug is the super chat leader. Thanks. I'll be back here Wednesday night after Dynamite with Johnny North. That's it. See you, AJ and Doug and everybody. Okay?